Greetings. Guten Tag. Talo Falava. This is Dr. Snow Brown saying hello to you all once again. A blessed good evening, being the Sunday, the Sabbath, the 8th of May, 2022. I hope you're all having a lovely evening, or one that's quite peaceful. Anyway, I want to say hello and a blessed good evening to my Snow Gang Club congregation, Snow Sheeps, Snow Shepherds, SEC1, SEC2, especially the Knights and Chiefs of the One of Today's War program. Now, I want to be honest and confess that I stopped praying the blood prayers. That's right. It's been over a week, probably almost 2 weeks now, that I stopped praying the blood prayers. Remember this 150 Days War program. You're supposed to pray. I am supposed to pray. That's great. Now, remember, that's my own program. That's correct. Each and every one of you, as I've always taught you, to have your own, you can have your own combination. That's correct. You don't have to pray my blood prayers as being part of the 150 Days War program. And you don't have to pray the rosary like I do. Yeah, it's great. And also the Lord's Prayer 3 times. And the I surrender prayer. So, but recently I think I prayed the rosary 7 times. I know how to pray the rosary 7 times, 5 times. And something miraculous did happen. I felt the presence of God. I felt the presence of Holy Mother's throne. It was like I was actually praying to Holy Mother right next to her throne when I prayed the rosary. That's great, the Holy Rosary. So it was pretty powerful. It was quite very powerful. It was very powerful. So I want you all to take note this evening. When I say, don't ever doubt my God, don't ever doubt my meek God, the one that is the sovereign head or the head of my special meek Crystal Kingdom Church TV. Because Holy Mother actually exists. You really, Queen Snow Brown, Your Majesty Queen Snow Brown, really does exist. And it was only praying the so-called Rosary of the Holy Ones 7 times in one go that I felt the presence of Her Majesty Queen Snow Brown right next to me. Like she was right next to me and I was praying right next to her. That's correct. So she really does exist. So if my precious little munchkins and special lots, you all know the play Jiffy Jabam and Queen Snow Brown. That's correct. That's real. Everything that's inside that play is real. It contains all the mysteries of the kingdom, the mysteries of Crystal Kingdom. That's correct. But it is real. It also has the wine of God, the special wine of Mary's wine. That's correct. I think the Catholic faith have been studying you in secret and have been wanting to know the mysteries. That's correct. Well, this evening, the topic for this evening, as I said I would talk to you about, was incest. Now, I didn't particularly choose this topic today so that I could get back to my rallies. That's correct. My evil rallies that I've been preaching about in a lot of my videos in the last couple of years, over the so-called last 2 years, or the last year or so, over a year or so. No, I don't do that to get back at them. I do that because I know that it's a sickness and it's a plague. And it also because I have uncovered the mystery of all those decisions, all the atrocities that I endured in the last 25 years, and why I was targeted by criminal organizations, by 2 criminal organizations, being MNB and the KKK, but especially the MNB one, the local one. That's correct. And it was because of incest. It was because of incest, the sickness of incest. The Treviranus family, as I was growing up, and everyone in the family, all the Trevis, the Trevi clan, the Treviranus, would know, and even the extended family, both the Patu side, my mum's side, and the Treviranus side, and even the Websters, all know and even all my other cousins, so-called dads and mums, that's correct, whom we refer to as uncles and aunts, respectfully, right? They all know the history of incest, the history of incest inside the Treviranus family or the Treviranus clan. That's correct. That such a sickness, that such a plague really does exist. It has always been part of the Treviranus clan. Now, I don't know, they'll probably be in denial. That's correct. They'll probably say, no, that's a lie. Doesn't exist. It actually does. It actually does. If you want to carry out DNA of the entire Treviranus clan, that's right, 10 children, 1 adopted into the family, that's correct. Remember, I speak the truth. I'm a Knights Templar. Cross my heart and speak the truth. Cross my heart. Speak the truth and do not lie. That's correct. Part of the ingredients or part of the makeup of a Knights Templar is thou shalt speak the truth at all times. Now, what I'm saying right now is that the Treviranus now is a part royal family. And of course, when my dad married to my mum, I became a full royal. Now, I have discovered recently, and this is only because, well, I'm a true Treviranus. I was born one. So I would know by this age, at 49 years old, that I will learn quite a bit. I would receive other gifts and talents, but more gifts from the priesthood family. The Treviranus is also a noble priesthood family. They have a long line of clergymen, that's correct. And they're also naturalists. They also have, a renowned record for natural priests, that's correct. They have a court preacher. There's no such thing in New Zealand. In Germany, they are renowned they are a noble family. They are a noble part royal noble family. Now, in this generation, I grew up we have relations who committed incest, who have incestuous, who are in incestuous relationships. That's correct. That is my dad's youngest brother. Committed incest with one of my cousins, who is the daughter of my dad's sister. That's correct. And they had 2 children. And now they got 5 grandchildren. That's correct. So the daughter, thankfully, was smarter than the mother. That's correct. Because, well, she married a priest, a reverend's son. That's correct. And created 5 grandchildren. That's correct. Now, if I'm correct, I'm an ordained natural noble pastor. I know exactly what happens. The gene of incest is in our gene. It's in the genes. It is in the blood. So it's in your DNA. So it's not a chemical reaction. It's not that's great. It's in your blood. So how to heal that? I tell you, it's impossible. It's almost near impossible to heal the sickness of incest. That's correct. Because it gets passed down generations after generations through your DNA. And every scientist out there knows very well that's correct. So unfortunately, probably for my cousin who was able to enjoy her full privileges in this country, being a New Zealand born, that's correct. Got to enjoy being experience motherhood and have children, that's correct. And have a husband and be married, not married, but partnership, that's correct, but they're still married. And enjoy all her privileges. Probably was accepted as a Pākehā. Despite that her dad, on her dad's side, is Pātokelau, and Portugal. So that's why her and her siblings look very Spanish. That's correct. And they got that beautiful, unique, that's correct, attractive Spanish kind of spin on them. That's correct. But I guess the one thing I will say is that with incest, that's correct. So the incest was passed down to us. in our generation. From our granddad, from granddad. And I knew that granddad was sick with incest. And I also knew that a lot of dad's siblings were sick with incest. So incest is actually is in our genes. It's in our blood. That's correct. How do I know that well, I think everybody knows there is incest in the Treviranus family. Goodness gracious. They must be fools. They would have to be dead to lie between their teeth, let alone their tails, if they would say there's no such thing. But in actual fact, if they tested my cousin's blood DNA with my dad's youngest brother, that is presumed to be her partner, life partner, where everybody thinks that their so-called union is legal, when in actual fact it's not. It's against the law to commit incest in this country. But they've been living as a couple. I mean, of course, everybody just loves them. That's great. They just didn't know that, okay, they come from a part royal family. But, there's a big but. So it's not legally accepted. But it's not morally right either. But it looks like they have been accepted. Because, I don't know, maybe they did, one of them, or they had laid with an elite. And supposedly were given the okay to live their lifestyle, to live that way, without the without the cops coming around to arrest her. Well, I mean, she knows all the cops, of course, because her mom, that's right, they know, their parents know the police officers there at the police college, because her apparently her mother used to clean there. That's correct. Now she's something else, a manager of a children's creche. That's correct, kindergarten. I guess what we're really trying to get down to is that I have discovered, that's correct, that all this time, in the last 25 years, you've been targeted by your cousin's side of the family. They're the only ones that have the criminal, harmful, bad connection. The Baker side of the family, that's correct. So when you've got incest, this is what happens. Somebody in the Treviranus clan is going to cop it. And that person happened to be my dear family. Myself, and especially my dad. So if there's incest in the family, then that means they are likely to be part of criminal organizations. They're likely to become associates of a criminal organization. That's correct. And the Baker side of the family was just one of those. That's correct. So my cousin's side of the family, on her dad's side of the family, they've got it badly. They've got it badly, the sickness of incest. In my immediate family of seven of us siblings, my parents, we were fortunate enough, out of the whole of the Treviranus clan, that's correct. I know, out of all the grandchildren, 132 or more grandchildren, great-grandchildren and whatnot, we didn't get the incest. We don't have the incest. That's correct. That's the irony, that we don't have the incest in our so-called, I know, get it, in our DNA. I guess once I became, that's correct, ascended to a throne, became ordained as a meek natural pastor, but became a king, a sovereign head. Well, that's when we got immunity. That's correct. Got protected. Because, our last name changed to Brown. That's correct. Because if we had remained as Treviranus, we would be sick with the incest. That's correct. So for my meek monarch, for my other siblings, this is for you also, and for all my other cousins. That's correct. In order for the Treviranus clan, that's correct, to heal from the sickness of to be protected, but also to heal from the sickness of incest. My immediate family, being a meek monarch, we're the only ones, because you're the ones who ascended to a throne or ascended or got a kingdom this way. We're the only ones that we can change our last name to Brown. So we are actually Browns. We are not Treviranus, that's correct. We are not Stuarts, although we're part Stuart. I actually think we're more Stuart, that's correct. We're actually Brown. So in this generation, All my other siblings, they must change their last name to Brown. That's correct. In order for us to get rid of the so-called incest in our bloodline, but also, I suppose it's like starting a clean slate. It's like a clean slate. That's correct. We're starting afresh. We're a new creation. Where in our spirit and in our blood, it's going to be pure. It's going to even be more pure. And that's why we are full royals. So we got the privilege to change our last names to Brown. That's correct. And because our DNA, well, my heart condition, we're full royals. We're pure. That's correct. More pure and clean. That's correct. So we've got the clean. We got the clean slate from above. That's right. Amen. It's quite a privilege. Now, as for the rest of the family, if they wanted to change their last name to Brown,